Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm Carol Jenkins. The program is Black America. And our guest today is Allison Palmer, a member of the sensational feminist pop rock band Betty, which has traveled over the world spreading the message of peace, hope, and equality, in addition to some really fabulous music. Through its foundation, the Betty Effect, it promotes empowerment of women in challenged communities. In preparation for the upcoming Women's March on Washington on January 21st of 2017, Allison has created an action that we can all participate in, even if we can't get to Washington. It's called One at One. And later in the show, we will hear the Betty Trio perform live right here in the Black America studio. Allison, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Right.
I'm so honored to be here in this chair where you've had so many amazing Black Americans.
Well, you might be our most glamorous, as I said,
stop.
but you know, Hollywood has arrived at the Black America studio. So now, but you're a serious woman, even though you rock out in Betty. You're a serious person, as all three of you are. And now you've created this One at One action.
Right.
Because we should say that hundreds of thousands of people are making plans to go to Washington, D.C. to express their protest, their affirmation of what life should be like in this country. But some people are not going to be able to do that.
That's absolutely true. And when I first heard about the Women's March, I lifted from my sadness. And then I went right back into my sadness again because I thought, is this going to be more of the same? Obviously, there was a bubble that we were all trapped in, and that is why we were so shocked by the outcome of the election. And how do we go beyond the bubble? And I was just thinking, I was talking about it with my daughter, my 13-year-old, how can we possibly go beyond this bubble and make this thing bigger? And then all of a sudden, my goodness, if people can't go to the march, what if the march came to them? What if at one point across the entire nation, every woman and supporter who believes in one simple shared belief could all do the same action? I said, what if at 1 o'clock in Washington, D.C., all the way across the nation to 8 o'clock in the morning in Hawaii, what if every single woman who believes in women's equality just stood up and did one action? Everybody just rose for 1 minute of silence. And in that minute of silence, just thought about women's equality, what it meant to them, what they could lose, what they appreciated, what they wanted to fight for, whatever. Just all sort of had a shared thought at the same time. What would that do to our movement? What would that do for our nation? And I got goosebumps. I started getting really excited. So I called a couple people. I called you, and I was like, what do you think of this idea? And every single person has said, yes, I want to be part of it, because the one thing that we do not have in this country is unity. And we all crave it. We're a community. You know what I mean? We want to be unified around certain things. And what could be more simple than the concept of equality in a nation that has told the world for years that we are the bastion of that?
And now the plan is that Gloria Steinem, who's one of the honorary chairs with Harry Belafonte, would do a countdown to this 1 minute. And I love the photographs of you and Gloria with your fingers in the air, at one. I think we have a PSA. Let's take a look at that. That'll give us more about One at One.
Up, get up, dance up, get up, sing up, get up, change everything. Up, get up, dance up, get up, sing up, get up, change everything. Silence must stop, violence must end. Broken body and spirit will rise again. Strength in numbers, take a stand. Right the wrongs, don't ask a man. If one woman hurts, if one woman cries, if one man bleeds, rise, rise. Up, get up, dance up, get up, sing up, get up, change everything.
That's it. And it's the simplest idea in the world. All you have to do is stand up and think for 1 minute.
And what will you be thinking about? What's your idea about what you want to do in that minute of silence in your heart?
I will only be thinking about my daughter. That's the whole point of this to me. The whole reason why I was so upset on 11/9/16 was because for 13 years I've told my daughter every day, that she was as good as anybody, that she could get anywhere, that the sky was the limit, that she could be president, and I'm not going to let a situation make me a liar. So I'm going to be thinking about her and her generation. Carol, you and I might not see women's equality in our lifetime, but hopefully in my daughter's lifetime it can happen. So I think I'm going to be thinking about my whole continuation of family, from my mother, from my grandmother to my mother, to myself, to my daughter, all working for the same thing.
Yes, well, we went through the same thing with our 7- and 3-year-old daughters, and even my grandson was upset. I mean, he was the one who insisted on having the Hillary doll and would take it to school with him. So they were, all, as a group, so disappointed
Right.
that didn't happen. Take away the politics of it. It's just the equality of it that.
Absolutely, but and along with the equality, the fact that the bully won. I mean, I have a tendency to look through the eyes of children anyways, because I support girls. That's my main passion, is supporting girls. The fact that this bully and this bullying behavior was not chastised in any way and actually won at the end of the day made it clear to me that we needed to make sure that people know this isn't the end of the day. This is an adjustment. Adjustments happen. Some would call it a glitch, whatever we're going to call it. It's a moment in
Right.
time that we need to work through and learn that there's more that we need to do.
So we always ask our guests to place themselves in Black America. It's a little tricky with you because your dad was an ambassador, so you did a lot of traveling around the world. But talk to us a little bit about the influences that brought you to this activism that you have.
When I think about myself in Black America, I am sort of the Saturn's rings going around, because every 2 years of my entire life we've moved to a different country. My father has always been in the State Department, or was always in the State Department. And so I grew up in Southeast Asia, and then in Europe, and then back in Southeast Asia. I was in West Point for a couple of years, down in Washington, D.C., and then in the Philippines. So I didn't actually fully identify with Black culture in terms of myself being a member of it until I moved back in high school, for my senior year of high school, to Walter Johnson High School in Bethesda, Maryland. And it was kind of a shock.
In what way?
Well, because I didn't realize, just the high school in general. If you can imagine moving in your senior year of high school,
Sure,
is
sure.
tricky to begin with. But the first day I walked into the cafeteria, and there were all these different groups that I could physically see. I mean, there were like the jocks here and all this. And then I saw that there was Black on one side and white on one side. And I'd only known brown. In Southeast Asia, it was just like we were all different shades of brown, and even the pink ones were kind of brown. So I wasn't really sure what I was supposed to do or where I was supposed to go. And I think it probably took me a good 5 or 6 years before I understood how I could truly be myself, and not just like be pressed up against the glass of this world and wanting so desperately to be part of it and not knowing how. So I think that there are a lot of different shades and gradation of culture in this country at all times. And what helped me is the thing that has always helped me through my life. 2 things. One is reading. When I started reading Alice Walker and just reading more, and television, of course.
Right, yeah.
Because I didn't know from American television either.
Right,
So once I
right.
started getting the cultural language, then it all started coming together. And then I discovered the music. And Earth, Wind, and Fire taught me more than anything about who I was and where I could be and how proud I could be of this world. It was really an exciting evolution. That was my college more than anything else, even though I did attend many years of college. Many years. I just wanted to matriculate. I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I just
You didn't
wanted to
want to
learn.
graduate, right?
I didn't want to
No, you just-
graduate. You know,
yeah,
I just wanted to learn. I had so much to learn in that short period of time that I just kept on taking all these different classes and meeting people and talking to people. And I kept gravitating to the student government, and I kept gravitating to the arts centers. And so I realized that that's who I was, and clearly that's what I've continued to do my whole life.
And when did the music actually take over your life? I know you're always an activist, but you're also a performer. When did it
Right.
take over your life?
Well, I started playing solo guitar on television when I was 16 back in the Philippines on the Aldegar Sister Show. So I was playing music sort of quietly to myself. And while I was in college, I joined a band that played 50s music because they wanted a backup singer. So I was singing backup, and one day the bass player didn't show up, and I said, well, that can't be that hard. It's only 4 strings. I started playing the bass, and it was it was like coming home. I realized that there was some vibration, and I do think it's the most female of all rock instruments. There was some vibration about it that just felt really great. So I started playing bass guitar with this band. When my interest in that music sort of ended, I came home one day and put on the radio, and there was an ad for a bass player for a band called, a female punk trio called Lickety Split. And I
Female punk
trio called Lickety Split. And I was like, well, everything about that is wrong, and yet I'm compelled. So I called them up, and it turned out to be Amy and Elizabeth Ziff,
Right.
who became my fast friends, my family, because
Your
we've now
family.
played together for 30 years. And
That was 1986, right?
that was yes, that we
Wow.
were.
So you guys have been rocking out for 30 years.
Actually, that's when Betty started, because I knew them even before that. We were doing another band right before that as well.
Ah.
Luckily, the name Lickety Split didn't stick around, because that was not
and
me.
by the way, Betty is always in all caps,
It
right?
is.
Yeah. So
And Betty is in all caps for a reason.
Yes.
Because it is not a name that belongs to any kind of patriarchy or man or father or husband. It's a woman standing on her own, and that's why Betty is all caps. It's just a woman's name.
Right. Well, let's we've got a clip of Betty playing in all caps. Let's take a look at. It's called what? Sticky Rice. Let's hear that.
Spice on love, exotically.
Sugar, get an appetite. Are you ready for juicy and ripe?
Sticky rice and mango. Tie tongue tango. Sticky rice and mango.
Sweet time.
Put some money in the coconut.
E to the B, yeah.
Blow the roof off a Betty one.
Hungry people.
Dumpling.
Sing along to
It's better than a baby roof.
Cookie. Your fortune's right. Are you ready for juicy and ripe?
Sticky rice and mango. Tie tongue tango. Sticky rice and mango.
Sweet time.
I could watch it forever.
Thank
you know?
you.
And that was at the City Winery,
That
where you
was.
have a lot of shows.
That's true.
And every holiday, Gloria Steinem does a show with you, goes through her list of, evaluating the year, and has her 10 wishes.
Her top
and
10 list.
And
exactly.
I have even had the pleasure of performing with Betty. I, thank goodness, was not singing.
Carol,
but was
it was our honor entirely, because
reading.
you were reading, but remember, we were singing behind you. So
That's
technically, you were.
I was performing with the group.
It's
We'll have to
true.
find that clip at some point.
And this song here, Sticky Rice and Mango, is
Yeah.
actually our first single from our new album, On the Rocks, is Rise.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one is Sticky Rice and Mango. And you asked me earlier, why Sticky Rice and Mango?
Right.
One of the things that brought us together as a group and keeps us together as friends, I think many people can relate with this, is food.
Food.
We will sit and we will eat and we will talk all over this world, girl. And I'm telling you, sticky rice and mango is the one dessert that we've found that beats all others. And so
And you
that's
made a song out of that's great. But now you guys also have had a tremendous career in television and in film, writing the soundtracks for the L Word. You guys
Yes.
were actually performed, and lots of other things.
It's
So,
true, yeah.
You're a successful, productive group. Yeah, it's
we like to stay busy. What can I say? It's been really great that we have had Ugly Betty and Weeds and Orange is the New Black. We've had a lot of songs on a lot of television shows. We have a particular sound that's different from most people. And it's very hard to categorize, we've been told from the very beginning. And we've had meetings with many labels who have
Yes.
said, look, just do this, because we sing a cappella, we do spoken word, we rock out, the three of us, we rock out with the band sometimes, with
Right.
my partner Tony Salvatore and Mino Gori on drums. We do all kinds of things. Sometimes we'll have a bunch of strings. So people have said, look, you got to bring it down to one thing only. This is America. To really sell and be successful, you have to be in one little box. And we've always said this, we don't know.
right. Well, we should say that you and Tony have those two gorgeous children
That's
too.
right.
So and we saw
Ruby.
Ruby in
Yes.
there are some fabulous photographs of those children when they were tiny. They remain the most beautiful children, except for my
Except for
grandchildren,
yours,
of course.
yeah.
You know, we talk about this all the time. You know, but they are fantastic. Well, that's one good. Now, does Tony travel with you guys? I know I always see him in New York. Do you travel as a?
You know, not usually. You know, he does watch the children. One of the things that I say that is so important in the search for true women's equality in this country is sharing childcare. And Tony and I have worked it out in a really great way, where when I'm touring with Amy and Elizabeth, when we're going around the world doing our Betty shows or working for the State Department with the Betty Effect, that he will be with the kids so their lives don't have to be disrupted.
Right.
The first 2 years of their lives, it was wonderful taking them with us everywhere. And they did. They traveled. Before Ruby was 2, she had 58 flights going around to different places. And it was terrific. She learned how to count on elevator numbers. Elizabeth and Amy would teach her on the elevator numbers and all. It was
Right,
great.
right. And then that pesky thing called school came along.
And then
right?
school
Yeah.
came along,
Yeah,
and her
yeah.
own life.
Right.
And that's the hard thing also, I found as a mom, and I'm sure that you did too. It's like making sure that they do have their own lives and they're making their own decisions when you just want to do everything for them. You just can't. That's not how you raise a child. So.
You mentioned the Betty Effect. Let's talk a little bit about your foundation, which really has been extraordinarily helpful to all kinds of people who don't feel included or who may feel, I mean, I guess the word we use is challenged, you know, whatever. I mean, they're not a part of the mainstream. And you actually make a point, Betty does, of reaching out to the populations and making sure they feel okay.
Absolutely. Community is the most important thing to Betty. It always has been. About bringing people together, because there's no reason why everybody can't have a place at the table. There's no reason. And so with the Betty Effect, it's an organization that exists to lift women and girls and populations who are, as you said, threatened or outside on the margins, a lot of times being LGBTQ plus people, around the world. We travel, we play music, we do workshops, and we just sort of try and find out how we can help the community best, as opposed to us coming in with saying, this is what you need to do. We lend our voice in helping these communities, and we try and get them all the resources they need, either financial or through supportive organizations already doing grassroots work on the ground.
Yeah, and so you've recently been to India, Argentina, I mean, like different
Eastern Europe a lot.
Eastern Europe a lot, where working in those communities as well. How often are you on the road with that?
We've been doing a lot of those.
Yeah.
Last year we took off, in 2016, we took off a lot to record this new album.
Right.
Because we keep remembering, oh yeah, we're a band, we're supposed to have albums too. But there's just never any time.
Right.
You know, I mean, you're
Right.
constantly doing all these other things. So we took some time off to really sit and work on music and record. And we came up with On the Rocks, which is on our website, hellobetty.com. And
You see how she slipped that in, right?
Well,
HelloBetty.com. Because we hadn't mentioned it yet.
I
you know,
just
and then
saying,
but-
it's important. But we took some time off to do that. But we're very much looking forward. There are a lot of places that need eyeballs and need attention. And luckily, where we go, we're able to bring a bunch of attention with us that can be helpful and supportive of the people in those places. And so that's what we're looking forward to doing
Right, right.
more of in 2017.
Right, right. So now, after One at One, what then? I mean, that's an action that will take place
Right.
during the march. And what do you see after that?
One at One is so exciting to me because it is that one moment where we all, you know, I was talking to Gloria just the other day. And
Gloria
we were saying,
Steinem,
Gloria
yeah.
Steinem, sorry, my friend.
Oh, yeah, your friend.
Our
Our
close personal
friend.
friend, Gloria. We were talking and we were talking about the silence. Some of the pushback I've gotten about this idea of One at One, everybody's very excited about it, but they're like, but women shouldn't be silenced, women should be speaking up. My whole point is that there's been so much noise. There have been so many words, there's been so much shouting, there was that unbelievably long election cycle that we need to have a moment to breathe and to gather and to hear ourselves think and hear ourselves plan. And Gloria, our close personal friend, says that any meeting you ever have that starts with a minute of silence exponentially makes that meeting more powerful. And that's exactly what we need right now. So I'm very excited about the fact that, I was talking to your earlier guest, Tamika, about the fact that Betty is definitely going to be part of the Women's March in Washington, D.C., leading the countdown of this moment to the minute with Gloria. and also linking all the other marches around the country at the same time. And then the women who aren't in the marches and the supporters who aren't in the marches, people like the woman at my grocery store who hadn't heard about the march, but when I told her about this action said, I need to do that. And I said, yes. So right now we're getting the word out to as many people as possible that they have a moment to join with everyone. And then after that, once a week on Monday at 1 o'clock, there'll be a 1-minute video. If you happen to have the One app, which is under development right now, there'll be a 1-minute video with a very simple action to take so that we, all of us, start becoming more activist every week. Something that we can all do, because I think if nothing else, this election showed us that we've been waiting for these leaders to come and do something and change something and make things right, and no one's going to do it. As President Obama has said time and time again, no one's doing it. It is up to us. We are the ones we've been waiting for. 2017, I believe, is the year where all of us understand that and start doing the work more and more. So with One at One, what we're doing is MEME, minimal effort, maximum effect. A very simple action like calling this number to say this sentence to these people who are stopping women's advancement in one way or another. One person making the phone call takes 5 minutes. You can do that easily at your desk or in your home. But if we have 10,000 people doing it, obviously it maximizes the effect. Every week, there's another video and another thing that is going to be happening that comes into the app.
Allison is organizing us.
Oh, I love
Allie,
a plan.
I can see that now. 10,000 people making a phone call.
Yeah.
At the same.
Some are phone calls. Some things are also just like dancing. For instance, Eve Ensler's 1 Billion Rising, where the entire world rises to stop violence against women. So that week, the action is just going to be like, dance, find a place to dance. But the main thing is to make it habitual. We need to all realize that just like spiritual practice, this is something that we need for our own health, is to make sure that we're continually feeding our community, feeding our energy into this world and making the world the way we want to see it.
I can see the book, I can see the film, I can see the, you have
The action
app,
figure?
right? The action figure. That's right. My little Sam will be taking, you know, an Allison action doll to school
Oh my gosh. It should be a carol.
the next week. We always ask our guests to finish the statement, the power, the strength of Black America lies in. What is that for you?
The power
And the strength.
and the strength of Black America lies in one thing only to me, and that is resilience. Because we get knocked down more than anybody I've ever known. We get knocked down, and what do? We get back up. And I think that African American women really show that more than anyone else because of our position in society, because how unequal everything is for women. We keep showing up, we keep doing the work, we keep it rolling. So it's resilience that keeps us going and gives us our power and our strength.
I like that. I like that. And in terms of the, I want to ask you about the next recording. Are you going to take another year? And
Honey, it took 6 for the last one.
6 years?
We're busy eating. We got stuff to do.
I know, you're changing the world.
We're changing the world. It takes a couple days.
Okay, well, it's time to meet and hear your Betty partners, sisters Amy and Elizabeth Ziff, all singing the 2017 anthem, Rise.
If one woman hurts, if one woman cries, if one man bleeds, rise. Up, get up, dance up, get up, sing up, get up, change everything. Up, get up, dance up, get up, sing up, get up, change everything. Silence must stop. Violence must end, broken body and spirit will rise again. Strength in numbers, take a stand. Right the wrongs, don't ask a man. If one woman hurts, if one woman cries, if one man bleeds, rise, rise. Up, get up, dance up, get up, sing up, get up, change everything. Up, get up, dance up, get up, sing up, get up, change everything. Brothers, sisters, women, girls, time is now to change the world. No story forgotten, no soul erased, no promise left empty, we're taking our place. If one woman hurts, if one woman cries, if one man bleeds, rise, rise, get up, get up, get up, get up. What time is it?
Time to rise up.
What time is it?
Time to rise up.
What time is it?
Time to rise up.
What time is it?
Time to rise up.
What time is it?
Time to rise up.
What time is it?
Time to rise up.
What time is it?
Time to rise up.
What time is it?
Time to rise up and
Rise, rise. If one woman hurts,
One woman,
if one woman cries,
one woman,
if one man bleeds, rise, rise, up, get up, dance up, get up, sing up, get up, change everything. Up, get up, dance up, get up, sing up, get up, change everything.
What time is it?
Time to rise up!
Thank you.
To Allison Palmer, Elizabeth Ziff, Amy Ziff, Betty in cap letters, thank you so much. You can get a free download of Rise by going to their website, hellobetty.com, and also the action, oneat1.org.
That's correct. There's going to be an app coming out very soon where people can be coordinated all around the country, all around the world.
Okay, well, thank you guys so much. Just fabulous. And thank you all for being with us today. I'm Carol Jenkins. The program is Black America, and we will see you the next time.
Yay!
Woo!